This is your signal of the week. One report, one moment, one thing that doesn't make sense. No headlines, no explanations, just the signal and what we know about it. So listen carefully, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Welcome to the signal of the week. And now, Alien Mike and Sergeant Shenanigator.
Alien Mike, what's going on today, man?
Another day in this lovely world we call paradise. How are you?
Yeah, same thing. Just a beautiful day. We got shenanigans in progress,
Nice. It looks so
so
good.
life is good.
That's great to hear. When you first got on and you were sitting in the center, I was like, didn't even remember that you had that sign until you kind of do a little
Yeah,
scoochy scooch.
well, I might go back to the center, but I wanted to make sure that sign was seen.
Yeah, that. And where did you get that sign? I forgot.
I got that from our good friend Silver Maine here in Poughkeepsie.
Oh, very awesome. Very awesome. Well, shout out to Silver Maine for that. That's a wonderful sign.
Absolutely, it fits his program perfectly.
Yes, it does. A bunch of shenanigans. Ooh, starting off bad there.
If we started off good, I'd be worried.
Yeah, there would definitely be something wrong if this started off without a hitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do we
So
got going on today?
today we got going. We got the ghosts of Flagstaff Lake.
There we go. There we go. What a
So
oh,
I think the ghosts of my head are trying to take over,
yep.
but I don't think they're real ghosts. I think they're just voices.
It's something. For a long time I thought someone was trying to intercept my computer, like yours got intercepted, because my internet. Oh my goodness, I can't begin to tell you how much trouble that was. And
I
now I think I'm running flawlessly.
Yeah, I honestly think the Blorp wasn't trying to sabotage us. I think Blorp and Baby Blorp were trying to warn us.
Yeah, there's something going on. You better keep an eye out for it.
Yep.
And I got him. I
So
mean, even my little baby Blorp.
Blorp and Baby Blorp, thank you very much.
Yeah, he's got his little hat
Oh,
on.
he's even got the hat on.
Yeah, he gets worried. Something's gonna happen. So
So, anyway, we better get this show started.
yes,
If you want to take us through the ghosts of Flagstaff Lake and talk about the history real quick.
all right. So the history of Flagstaff Lake. So it's in Maine. Actually, one of the most dramatic and haunting stories tied to any lake in New England. It's not just a natural body of water, it's a place where entire communities were just completely erased, which I've seen movies about it, and that's just unreal that they would even consider doing something like that. So before the lake was a lake, um, the area was a river valley along the Dead River in Maine, with small rural towns like Flagstaff, Bigelow, and the Dead River Plantation. The town got its name from Benedict Arnold, who camped there during his 1775 expedition to Quebec, and he reportedly erected a flagstaff. Now, I believe you
Yeah,
have a little something on Benedict, our buddy Benedict, don't you?
I do, and it kind of ties into the ghost stories in a way, but nobody's really sure.
Okay.
So the route that Benedict Arnold was on, he was ordered to go take Quebec,
Okay.
and the route that they took was up the Dead River Trail, which is basically right along where the lake is. And the time of year they did it turned into a disaster because of the cold. They didn't have enough rations. Um, as a matter of fact, the rations were so slim that the party actually began eating the leather from their gear and wax from their candles to try and survive.
Yep.
Several soldiers, there's no exact number on how many because when the soldiers died, they just kind of buried them and kept going. But several soldiers died along the trail and were buried in just unmarked graves. and some of those graves are said to be where this lake currently sits right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I've heard a lot about, speaking of them eating, parts of their clothes, leather stuff, the old leather like cowboy jackets that had the tassels that hung off the arms, that
Yep.
a lot of that was intentional for them to, if something happened, that was some kind of sustenance to keep you alive until you got to where you needed to go.
I'm so glad the military nowadays has at least MREs, because
Uh,
I don't think I'd appreciate eating my boots.
no, and I don't know about you, but I always loved the MREs.
I liked I liked most of them.
The
I
cheese and
wouldn't say I
crackers.
loved, but the cheese and crackers, that was caviar.
Yeah, and I've got a good buddy. Long before we had anything to do with the military, we'd go to the Army Navy store and buy that, and he was disgusted by it, and that's all I would eat was the cheese and crackers. Good stuff.
Ah, I cheese and crackers. I was a fan of the peanut butter at first,
No, it got
but see,
nasty.
I'm the first generation MRE. I was still dehydrated beef patty and dehydrated pork patty,
Yeah. Oof.
and that was like eating cardboard with very little flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good stuff.
No.
All right. So back to uh, Flagstaff Lake here. So by the late 1800s, early 1900s, the valley where the lake now sits supported small logging communities, mills, and really tight knit villages where everyone worked really close with each other. So life was rather simple. The logging, farming, and a river based industry that dominated their daily life. So between 1920s and 1950, there was a huge demand for hydroelectric power. So plans were emerged to dam the Dead River and create a large reservoir. Approval for the dam began in the 20s, but it sparked a lot of major political, you know, battles between everybody. But the project was backed by the Central Maine Power, but it was opposed by conservationists and locals, including the future Maine Governor Percival Baxter. Despite all the resistance from everybody that didn't want it, the construction moved forward. They just said, "We're doing it. We need the hydroelectric power. It doesn't matter what you say. This is what we're doing." Uh, excuse me. In 1949 and 1950, the Long Falls Dam was completed. Over 18,000 acres of land were cleared and entire towns were evacuated. Now I can't talk. So,
Yeah. And I mean, I know you're going into the history a little more,
yep,
but when they said when Alien Mike said the towns were evacuated, it wasn't just the people. They evacuated most of the buildings.
yep, they moved what they could. And I know I didn't say it. It might come up later in my notes because I'm not very good at note taking right now. But it was people didn't want to move, but the banks essentially forced them to sell their homes and their businesses and everything. And if they
Yep.
refused, well, you're SOL. We're doing it
Yeah.
anyway. So either you sell and make some money, which is, for lack of a better term, pennies on the dollar for what they would have gotten just to sell it normally. But if they didn't sell it, you were out of luck. You had to figure something out. Um, so the homes, like you just said, were either moved or they were left behind to be swallowed by the rising water.
Yeah.
Cemeteries were exhumed and relocated before the flooding. Now,
Well,
oh,
not all of them.
yeah, not all. And they will tell you there's some places out there, if you look, they'll tell you, "Oh, we moved all the cemeteries, all the graves were all." No, they weren't.
Nope.
No, there was too many people. I mean, all the citizens of all those towns that for how many years had passed away, plus Benedict Arnold and his company How many of them passed away that were in shallow graves that may not have been marked, or if they were marked, it was typical of old school military where it's a stick cross. Here lies
Yeah.
John, and you keep moving because you don't have time.
I mean, this was back. This was back during the day where you had the city cemetery,
Yeah,
but you also still had the family plots.
right.
So family plots were ignored.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, go back to what I said about the people were forced to sell their homes to the bank. If they didn't want to sell their homes, do you think they're going to want to move their family?
No,
Their buried ones? No.
nope.
So
And
they refuse, and all of a sudden everybody. So I 100% do not think they moved all of them like they said.
oh, absolutely not. And just to make matters worse, I think you were going to bring this up, but I'm going to probably jump on your story here.
That's totally fine.
They didn't just close the dam and let the water start flooding it. The last day of the town, the citizens held a celebration on what is now the shore of the lake,
Mm-hmm.
and they watched the remaining portion of their town burn because the electric company just came in and set fire to everything.
Yep.
The crops that were there, the remaining houses, foundations, they burned it to the ground.
Yeah. There was a video I watched today about it that it was just a short, 5-minute video. And they were interviewing a lady who grew up in the town. And she's standing by, the water's edge and saying, well, this is where this was. This is where this was. And we lost everything. They did not
Yeah.
care. We did not want to leave. And the worst part is they, now have kids and grandkids, great grandkids, and they want to show their family where they grew up. Because who doesn't, I want to show my family where I lived in Georgia. But if the town is completely gone, you can't do that.
Nope.
So it was more important for them to have power than to care about the families.
Yeah. And if I remember the story right, those who resisted to the last second, they got nothing.
No, they didn't. They were shit out of luck.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in a situation like that don't want to, they're holding out because they either want more money or they think whatever's about to happen is, oh, well, if I choose not to move, then they have no choice but to not do it. Nope. They waited and, well, you got your warning. And
yeah. So while people were still trying to move stuff out of the remaining portion of their house, they were setting the town on fire.
Yep. And it's unfortunate, but, and when we decided to do this, you brought it up to me and I thought, oh, okay, well, this has got to be from a long time ago. And then I start looking at it and going, holy shit, this was 1950. This wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I mean,
they just,
my parents were alive when this was going on.
Yep. It's unreal.
I mean, I shouldn't have said that way because my parents are still alive, but they were alive
at that time. Yeah.
At that time. Yeah.
So
they were young children, but
yeah, that makes me kind of curious because I wonder, did you find any news articles on it? Was it like something they brought up to everybody, the worldwide news or national news?
It never made national news, but it did make Maine news. It made some New England state news because of how the power company, electric company came in and took over. But unfortunately, as I dug into those news articles, I'm not allowed to use them without permission of the owner. Yeah. They weren't free like the photos we just shared that will be credited in the links below. Those are public domain photos that you can use as long as you credit.
Yep. That's
excuse me.
That sucks. So when the dam gates closed, a 27-mile long valley was completely submerged, creating the modern, what is now known as Flagstaff Lake. So again, the towns of Flagstaff, Bigelow, Dead River, and Carrying Place now all sit completely underwater. And for any of those interested, I mean, if you Google Flagstaff Lake, Maine, you can find all of this information.
Yeah.
So, because of its past, Flagstaff Lake is often called a ghost lake. During droughts or low water levels, remnants of the old towns, foundations, roads, and artifacts can sometimes be seen. Many of the former residents described watching their towns disappear beneath the water, and the loss created a very long lasting emotional impact that still affects the people there, and it's helped to shape a lot of the paranormal stories, ghost stories that go on around that area. Um,
So, what I will do, um, when this finally hits on Wednesday, in the description there will be links to the National Archives,
yep.
which has links to the actual news articles that unfortunately we can't use.
Okay. Well, as long as we get the links in there, then they'll be able to. All you out there in viewership land will be able to read what we've read.
Yep.
So, as for the lake now, it's one of the largest lakes in Maine, over 20,000 acres. Man-made reservoir used to regulate the water flow for, again, the hydroelectric. I hate that word. Hydroelectric powered downstream, and it's a popular destination for kayaking, canoeing, fishing. There's a lot of camping and hiking near the Bigelow Mountains. But interestingly, the dam itself doesn't generate the power. It just controls the flow for the other dams along the. I have trouble saying this. Kennebec River. Um, so and then,
Yeah, some of those words up in Maine.
yeah,
Got to
that's
have my daughter on to translate.
yeah, it's rough. So one thing that I did find rather interesting was, and I didn't find this out until today, and that is in 1959, there was a mid air collision between U.S. Air Force jets that occurred over the lake. And so what happened was there was an Air Force pilot who was never recovered from Flagstaff Lake. It occurred during a radar training mission. It was an F-102 fighter interceptor jet, which made a mock attack run at a T-33 trainer, which led to a midair collision. The T-33 crew all ejected safely, but the F-102 pilot, who was First Lieutenant Gary N. Sugar, was never found. The aircraft was discovered in 1979, so what, 20 years later?
Yep.
But the pilot's remains have never been recovered. And this event has been the subject of fascination and speculations, which some locals, believe that the pilot's ghost haunts the lake, the water's edge on the lake.
Yes, and I think that leads us to the ghost stories.
It very, very much does. And I think
Now,
you have a wonderful story on that.
I do, and this one varies. Some people say that it's a woman that stands at the water's edge. Some people say it's a man's
Yep.
image, man's figure that stands at the edge of the lake. Um, some claim it's a Revolutionary War soldier. Some claim it could be the Air Force pilot that Alien Mike was just talking about. And every one of the stories I've read, other than male, female, revolutionary, modern, they're all pretty much the same. It starts out toward the evening, the light starts to fade, but dark hasn't taken hold yet. And it seems like in that area, the shoreline begins to change. And that's the one common thing that, I mean, even the stories that you've read,
Mm-hmm.
at night, this lake changes.
Yeah.
So the lake gets quiet, the air starts to cool, and the boundary between the land and the water becomes difficult to define. It's during this time that the figure is sometimes seen standing alone, standing right on the edge of the water or the shore, Nobody's really sure if the figure is in the water or on the shore. So it's really hard to tell. Um, the clothing seems out of place, but nobody can say exactly what it is, whether it's a female wearing a dress, a male in a Revolutionary War outfit. That's kind of where the whole story changes, but it's always unmistakably out of place and out of time.
Yeah. It it really seemed to me like when reading those stories, you would get a hint of, okay, well, this could be a male or a female, but when you'd want to look at the clothing, almost like it went from a full body apparition to kind of just a
A
wisp,
mist. Yeah.
like a fog.
And
Um,
that's what people are saying. Some people have tried to approach the figure, and as they get closer, it's like the figure recognizes them but doesn't acknowledge them.
yeah,
And the closer they get, it just the more transparent the figure becomes.
yeah. And from what
And eventually the figure just fades away, not violently, not suddenly, but just kind of fades into the mist.
it always seems to happen when it's really foggy.
Yes, the
So,
foggier the better for this one.
and another thing that I didn't actually read too much on, but that kind of went along with the story was the phantom footsteps along the beach. I don't know if you read that,
Oh,
where they
I did read the Phantom
that
Footsteps.
they would, it kind of correlates with that they would see phantom, footsteps, and it always led to, one of these apparitions. I'll say one of these ghosts.
Yep.
So, and because you walk along a beach, your normal reaction when you see footprints is, okay, there's other people here, but they always seem to lead directly to one of these ghosts.
Yeah, and the footprints in the sand. Some stories they don't mention it, but some
Yeah.
say as they approach the figure at the edge of the beach, and the figure disappears, they turn around and the footprints are gone.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So, very strange. So,
Yeah, that's the story of the figure at the water's edge, and it is a very very common story, and it's in more than one place along that area, but it's always down near Flagstaff, near the Bigelow Plantation, or the Dead River Plantation area.
yep. So that kind of goes into the next. I guess you could call it a ghost story. Not really. I'll say a paranormal story. Again, it's really mainly resides in those three areas, but it can be seen all over the lake, and that's the stories of ghostly lights that hover over the water at night. So what people see is floating orbs that are seen hovering above the lake at night, lights that they move very, very silently, very slowly, and then they just vanish instantly. Some of the explanations, of course, and I hate saying this, but they always say things like swamp gas. And I know that happens. I mean, I grew up in an
Yeah,
area where that happens, but there's a
but
difference between swamp gas and a light, which is a reflection off of that, and an actual orb that you see, flying around.
yeah,
So it I don't know really what to think of it, but the other place that it was reported was near the town of Stratton, which I found interesting because I didn't find that much on that town specifically, but I know it was had something to involved somehow with all this.
yeah. I all I got on it was much smaller than
Yeah,
the three main ones, so it's really not mentioned that
yeah.
much.
But that's where it happens, I guess, the majority of the time. But again, it always comes back to orbs in their different colors, hovering low to the ground, right above the water's level. no clear source. They say that it's not cars because where it's at, you're not driving a car there. So you're not getting headlights, you're not getting campfires, and then for it to just suddenly vanish. But they have no explanation at all for it. So
If
that always
if
really,
I were to go up to Flagstaff Lake, and I would love to,
yeah,
because it's it's not it's not part of Flagstaff Lake, but it's part of the lake system that controls the hydroelectric process.
yeah,
That's where the famous Maine alien abduction happened.
yep,
So it is in this general area.
yeah. And I think the
And by
thing,
general area, I mean probably a 3-day hike. But
right, but that's still relatively close for that area.
yeah, so I would love to go out there and do a ghost hunt, set up some cameras and point to the sky and see what's caught out there, because this is the perfect place for it.
I think the next time that I'm able to get out there, I think it's road trip time.
Oh, absolutely.
Go up there for a couple of days and camp out and just see what the night brings.
That works for me.
But I mean, it the main thing that really explained why it all felt or feels so haunted in that area is because of it was just suddenly abandoned and destroyed, and everything was just basically burned and buried, and in the blink of an eye you lose
Yeah.
everything, and it just
And and from what I've read, the really sad part about it is that the residents that loved this town so much still live in the area.
yeah, they live as
So they have to see this lake every day and be reminded that they lost their property, or their parents lost this property, their grandparents lost it.
that's that video I watched today. I mean, she explained that one, like I said earlier, she wants to show her family where she grew up. She can't,
Yeah.
but she lives in the area, and so it's just a constant reminder. And I know if it was me, I would be devastated and royally pissed off. And I wouldn't want to. You don't want to leave your area, but I also wouldn't want to be there and be constantly reminded of it every time I open my door.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I do believe we have another ghost story about
This
whistles, bells, jingling, something.
this one actually scares me because of the ending. But this is the story of the church bell.
Okay.
And I mean, it again, it happens on the foggy days, no wind, no movement of any type, but it also happens on regular days. People hear it quite often, and what they hear is they'll be out boating, kayaking, maybe swimming, and they'll hear the church bell under the water ringing. Sometimes it rings once,
Yeah.
sometimes it rings twice, but it's a low, hollowed, muffled bell tolling under the water.
That is, I mean, we all know sound travels, and
But
you hear that underwater. Yeah, that would be frightening. To
now, that's not the part that frightens me.
That would frighten me.
The bell was one of the items saved, and it is in the memorial chapel sitting at the edge of the lake.
Oh, so then,
So when you go to the lake to where Bigelow, uh, the Dead River plantations, and Flagstaff are,
mhm.
there is a memorial chapel there, and in that chapel is the actual bell from the town that was flooded.
But yet there's still
And everybody says it is not that bell ringing. That what we're hearing is under the water.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when I first when we were first talking about this, it reminded me of a movie, and I wish I could think of the name of it, but it's on it's on Netflix, and I'll have to find it. But essentially, it took place in like Norway or France or somewhere like European, and at the bottom of this lake there was a house or a town that had been completely submerged, and these group of scuba divers go in there to find out what it's all about or what's left behind, and kind of treasure hunt, and it just turns into a massive horror story, and it reminded me of this.
Oh, and everybody that goes out there. I mean, this is huge for they've got like 4 or 5 boat launches out there,
Mm-hmm.
so it's huge for fishing, for boating, for swimming. Um, it's only about 50 feet deep, so there's not a whole lot of need to scuba dive. But everybody said it is a very, very beautiful lake
Yeah,
that seems off.
yeah. It the pictures of it are absolutely stunning,
Oh yeah,
and when you see how massive this lake is, and to know that it's not all that deep, it's really interesting. Um,
it is.
so I found it. It's called the Deep House. So you might want,
I will check it out.
yeah. So it's two YouTubers, Ben and Tina. They find a submerged house in a flooded village. The house is cursed due to dark rituals performed by the original owners, leading to ghosts, trapped spirits, and possessed bodies. The film is mostly silent, taking place almost entirely underwater, maximizing claustrophobia. It emphasizes, I dropped my phone, like just an eeriness. So, very, very good show. I've watched it a couple of times.
I will check it out.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, and then I'll check it out, and then we'll have some of the viewers check it out, and we'll assign them homework to do book reports on it.
Yeah, there we go.
No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that.
Oh, come on. Everybody's got to have a little homework. Even after we get graduated from high school and university, tens of years ago.
Tens of you. I graduated. I mean, I just graduated high school like a year and a half ago. I'm only, believe it or not, 19.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah.
Kind of gray for 19, aren't you?
It was a lot. It was a stressful high school. I was bullied a lot.
I was bullied a shit ton.
I I wish I could blame bully on that, but there were some times I was the bully.
I in my friend group, the few that I had in high school, there were
Oh,
times
you
that,
had 3 friends too, huh?
yeah, there in early like 10th grade and then latter part of ninth grade, there was like 5 or 6 of us that hung out together, and in the group, one day it's us picking on one of them, one day it's them picking on us,
Oh yeah,
like that type of
that's
friend group. No,
that's kind of what it was for me. I wasn't the bully; would just go up and push you, just to push you.
I had people that did that to me, and
I did too.
I the one thing I didn't notice this, just a quick little short story. Probably 2002, I met up with an old friend, and he was on the football team, one of the captains, and he goes, "Did you ever realize that you never got in any fights in school?" And I went, "Well, now that you think about it, yeah," which I could never understand because I was bullied. And he goes, "Yeah, I would see people," and he was just an acquaintance. I knew him from another friend, but I never hung out with him. I didn't know much about him, but he hated that people would pick on me, and he would beat the hell out of them. So
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, well, that explains why I never got in a fight, because he wouldn't allow it
Let
to
me get
happen."
you my lunch money real quick.
Yeah, it was like, "Here, what do you need, man? I know it was like 5 years ago, but come on."
So that's a cool story.
Yeah, it was nice to hear, because the bullies, they, there was a lot of people that would pick on me, but it was this person for a month or so, then this person, then this person, and he always took care of it, and I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, I had 2 friends. I had 3 friends in high school. 2 were real and one was imaginary. But
Yep.
we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, Yeah, it's good times.
Oh yeah.
I would never do it again. Ever go back to
So nope,
so
nope.
that
So I think that's all we've got for Flagstaff Lake.
yeah. Um just again check the links below. Um it's a very interesting story from a haunting paranormal aspect to just an emotional aspect of, for lack of a better term, the cruelty and the uncaringness of people that they just don't give a crap. If they want
I,
something, they're going to take it. And
I think I know we've done. I think we've now done 3 stories on Maine,
mhm.
and out of the 3 stories, I'm beginning to understand Stephen King's inspiration for a lot of things now.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's yeah, a lot of stuff.
So
But yeah,
anyway,
that's all I
go ahead
had.
and hit that like, subscribe, and share button.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. We don't care.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Comment.
Send us some comments.
Yeah. I've heard negative things. I've heard positive things. More positive than negative, but the negative helps. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us what you don't like.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hear about Maine anymore, let us know. We can change it.
I think we're moving south for the next couple of ghost stories. I got some good locations.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, but we're trying to get more of the signal of the week out. So make sure you hit that notification bell too to be notified when the new videos drop.
Yep. And yeah, keep watching the
And-
skies. Keep
And just a reminder before we go, May 15th is our next live stream, and we are going to have medium and psychic Madame Ophelia here, who is going to try and talk to the ghosts in my house.
That's going to be
And for those that have seen a lot of the episodes, there are some strange things that have happened in this house while we've been filming.
Yep. Even long before we did this podcast, there was, I mean, I've stayed with you numerous times, and there's weird shit that happens in your house.
Yeah, you told me the story of you thinking I came in the room and was standing over you.
Yep.
Without telling her, my mom told me the same story, but she thought it was Dory.
Oh, yeah. It's not frightening as in scary that I don't want to be there. It's that like, holy shit, this is weird. I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to experience I want to figure out what it is. And so I think Madame Ophelia coming on is going to be fantastic.
Yep.
She was in another one of our episodes, one of the earlier ones, and I got great reviews from it. She does a wonderful job. So
yep, May 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern time on that.
Yep.
We'll go live with Madame Ophelia sitting right here next to me.
Yep. So stay tuned for that.
And with any luck, we'll bring in a ghost or two and get some answers.
Sounds like a plan to me. I'm excited.
All right. Well, that's all I got for tonight, Mike. How about you?
That's it for me as well.
All right. So, if you're going to have to choose between normal and abnormal, always remember, follow shenanigans.
Yep.
So until the next one, Mike, we will talk to you later.
Have a good one, Steve.
You too.